We found Orchard very quickly, thankfully. Our first Sunday here, and a gentleman approached us immediately following the service. His name was Art Christie. And Art Christie made a true impact in my life from that point forward. He became my U.S. father. Not that he replaced my dad, but he certainly was that, we'll say, person that gave me an example of leadership that I wanted to follow, that I needed to follow. He introduced me to many people that Sunday. He became a very important part of my life from that point forward. He gave me this bracelet, this What Would Jesus Do bracelet. And that does two things for me. Number one, it reminds me of him always. The only time this has ever come off, this is obviously not the original from '97, because it does get ratty after a little bit, but it has remained on my wrist other than when I have to swap it out, and I have several plain vanilla WWJD bracelets on my desk at home. The thing that it does for me, though, is it reminds me of him. It reminds me of who I'm supposed to be. I think of other men. There are so many other men that are currently working on their sainthood. I think of Gail Frazee. Gail Frazee is a constant giver. Think about, I can't imagine that South Oakland rebuilding together would be anywhere close to what it is today without the work of Gail. I can't imagine the church being where it is without the work of Dan Harmon, of Dave Catherman. There are just numerous mentors in this church that mean the world to me, that I can only hope to emulate and be like as I grow, as I age, as I mature. I love the people, all of the people, all of the things that we do, the grace that it bestows on my family, my grandchildren, my wife and I, the energy that I pick up every week that I'm here. I'm grateful.
My grandfather was a pastor, and then we were at another small church where we were very well known. But as an adult, I had a hard time finding a place where I felt like I fit in. Hence the bouncing around. Eventually, we just took a break from church because we couldn't find a place that felt like it was safe. We had experienced some hurt in the church. We had seen some power tripping. One of the churches I grew up in had some questionable financial practices. So I was leery, to say the least. We started visiting churches. I came to Orchard my first Sunday by myself. I left the 3 children and my husband at home, figuring I would scout it out. And from the moment I walked through the doors, I was welcomed with open arms. Someone greeted me, asked me how many kids we had. I told them they were all boys, and right away I was a member of the Boys Club, which exists at Orchard, just in case you weren't sure. Reverend Suzanne had 3 boys of her own, and so she talked to me immediately. At least 4 or 5 other people came up and introduced themselves to me, said hi, found out our names, and then, of course, Diane St. Clair brought us bread later that day, which blew me away, that I was welcomed and that our family was that welcomed and remembered. The messages and teaching and the theology on grace and how that grace is abundant and it's for everyone. Everyone is welcome at the table. That was what we needed to hear, and that resonated with us deeply, and we became members, and we are so grateful for this Orchard family. It's given our kids what really does feel like a second family. They want to come on Wednesday nights. They want to go to youth group. They love their friends here. They call them some of their best friends. They love the mission opportunities that they have. And I love that they're learning that walking with God is a day-to-day experience and not just a rock concert kind of high. It's an everyday thing where you can hear from God and you can be God's kingdom on earth. And we are just grateful that Orchard provides this place for us.